Woohoo! I think we're up and running. All right. Welcome back to Mr. Jackson's Peanut Butter Hour. I was so busy trying to focus on getting the Peanut Butter Hour up and running that I don't know if I have peanut butter. So let's hopefully some people will get in here. Welcome everybody. I can't believe it's a whole new week. It just feels so strange. It's very surreal now that I haven't seen you guys. Mostly because I spent most of the weekend doing yes, Keanu Chungus moment. I noticed there's a post of Keanu a cat and Big Chungus a cat, and they got fat on Reddit, and I was like, oh no, those chonkers, they shouldn't be fat. But hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Mr. Jackson's Peanut Butter Hour. Make sure that you grab some peanut butter. I found some right here for me. This is the first thing I've eaten all day. I've been just focused entirely on making sure that the live stream gets set up. Yeah, you saw it on Reddit as well. I'm glad. Grab some peanut butter, hop on with us. Let me know how you guys are doing. How is it that you're handling school? How is it on a scale of 1 to 42? Probably 42. Of you, John? A 42 for sure. Very proud of you. Hopefully, are you gonna come back? Come back, John. Graduate with us. Yes. Heckin' chonkers. I gotta eat this peanut butter. I don't have any water around, so this is just gonna be terrible. And I read an entire post about how people really don't like when you are eating on camera. So this is hilarious, in my opinion. That this is like what I've made my content. I'm wondering how everybody is doing because this has been really weird. I don't know if it just all of a sudden hit me or if it's hitting you guys as well. Mm. Yeah, those poor cats are definitely not doing well. I feel really bad for them. All the fat cats on Chonkers. And they have like a whole disclaimer on Reddit. It's like, we are trying our best to make sure they get to a healthy weight, and it's hilarious. I think I should also post this everywhere so people know what we're up to. How many of you guys are actually engaging with online school? What has been your experience with online school? Because what I've gotten on the attendance, for the most part, is a lot of people being like, it is not good, or I'm just not showing up. I have a lot of students and a lot of teachers saying that it just hasn't been very good, online schooling as a whole. But that is what we are going to do. That is what we're going to do for summer school. We just announced summer school is going to be all online, which is a little bit crazy in my opinion. I did apply for summer school. We'll see how that works out. But you will be able to make up some units. I think now is the time to do that if you've ever had a time, because for the most part it's just going to be a continuation of this through July. Who knows? You might not even be able to go anywhere else, so you might as well join us for summer school. I almost slept through all my periods, but I had this strange energy right in the early morning. I woke up and I was like, yes, 7 o'clock, let's do this. And then like from 7 to 8, I was posting, I was doing everything that I was supposed to do. Everything was happy and I was on top of it. And then boom, out like a light. Slept for like 3 hours. It was terrible. Do you see how chocolatey my fingers are right now? Anywho, some quick updates. You got 5 weeks left. And that might be really strange for some people. It might feel completely normal for other people, but 5 weeks left is not very much time, even though time seems to be really slow right now. 5 weeks is very, very quick. It doesn't really matter as far as grades go. Whatever your grade was for quarter 3, which is official, whatever your quarter 3 grade is, that's what it is, period. Whatever that grade is your grade for the whole semester. Can't go down. So if any teachers are telling you that it's going to go down because you're not doing XYZ, you just tell them no, that's not the case. You know better. And that's not an excuse to not do the work. It's just an excuse for you to say, hey, this isn't the work that's going to be best for me. On the topic of student engagement, it's a class-to-class thing for most. Yes, some people enjoy showing up to some classes but don't like showing up to others. Don't you think that's strange? How when given the opportunity, students naturally engage with certain classes. And given that choice, they navigate towards things maybe they feel like they're better at, or maybe they feel like the teacher is more engaging or engaging in a way that they find palatable, right? I think that a lot of people have navigated to classes where they feel like that is their strength, and maybe that is also where they interact online better. What would happen if that's how it was in the future? What do you think the consequences are for having it that way, right? Are there honestly going to be major negative side effects if a student who really doesn't want to do math, or really doesn't want to do math at this specific moment with this specific teacher, has the ability to say, I'm going to opt out? Is there a negative consequence to that you guys foresee? Because on my end, I mean, I feel like oftentimes am advocating for you guys. I want you to have the best case scenario. I want you to live your best lives. That's one of the things I really hope to teach you. But on my end, I feel like choice is only going to help you, right? I think you should push yourself, but oftentimes pushing yourself looks different for different people, right? And what ends up happening, especially when schools cut budgets, which is what's going to happen next year, we cut budgets from things that we think are less necessary, and that means we focus in on English and math. Why English and math? Why do you think English and math, right? Because ultimately, English and math are the topics that are tested. You only focus on what you're tested and and therefore you're going to make sure that that is what's going to happen, right? If I say to you, hey guys, you have to write 800 pages a week, 800 pages, right? And every one of you has to have 800 pages. You'd be freaking out. How the heck am I supposed to get 800 pages done? That's a lot of work, Mr. Jackson. But then if I told you, I am going to be grading page 7, page 14, page 21, and upward from 7 thereon, right? So page 28, page 35, page 42, I could go the whole way, right? Then what are you going to do? Are you going to write 800 pages? Are you going to divide those 800 pages by 7, focus only on the pages that matter, and then copy and paste and fill in whatever else, right? Do you only hold yourself accountable for that which is being measured, right? Do you only do what is expected of you that is going to be judged against you, right? Oftentimes people ask me, is this for a grade? Do you only do stuff because it's for a grade? And then, what do you do now? Something must have changed, right? Something must be different now. The way that you guys are acting, the way that you guys are interacting, the way that you guys are being productive or not being productive has to have shifted, right? I forgot that I have this option to zoom in when I go on my rants, which is pretty cool. Rant mode, zoom out, right? Hey, Shadow the Hedgehog. Is that Shadow the Hedgehog? I think it's Shadow the Hedgehog. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Okay. So, is this too close, you guys feel? Because this is where I usually shoot my YouTube videos, is at this range. But I wanted to have, like, this is like streamer range. Like, this is how most streamers do it, right? So, I'm trying. Pushing myself every day, right? Can you grade my Minecraft rocket? 10 out of 10. Yeah, I saw it. I think it's freaking awesome. Jocelyn, welcome back. You're the shadow of the moon. I see that. I see that you're the moon now. But Jocelyn, it always makes me happy. Hi, Queen. And Tree Person, yeah, 10 out of 10 on your rocket. I saw it. I thought it was freaking awesome. And you deserve A's across the board. I do hope that you do other stuff outside of Minecraft, because that should be helpful for you. Hopefully you guys are... Yeah, where's the other queen? I don't know. It's Monday. Things are a little bit starting off on a rocky foot this week. I don't know if you guys are feeling this in other classes or from other people in general, but just this sense that, like, hey, there's not as much motivation in the air. Part of that is Coachella Valley, right? It's gotten really stinking hot around here, and when it gets really stinking hot, people are less likely to be fully engaged, right? And in case anybody's wondering what I just did, I got distracted by myself playing a guitar. So, that's fun. I like this situation. The situation. I like this situation because I can get distracted and it's not going to be held against me. Because you guys are likely getting distracted too. How many of you guys in the comments, this is the only thing open on your computer or phone, right? I don't think so. I think you guys got IO games open in the background, so I'm allowed to have my guitar, right? So while we're here, we've got some major updates to the way that I'm doing school. We've got 5 weeks, right? Before I was doing Mr. Jackson Learns, and yeah, if you have all A's, you can peace out. Before I was doing Mr. Jackson Learns, and in doing Mr. Jackson Learns, it was a lot of work. And I was also telling you guys to reach out to friends. With 5 weeks left, reaching out to friends for those 5 weeks, I don't know. I don't know how many of you guys were engaged in the first place, and so I wanted to make it a little bit easier and give you a daily task that you were doing that was relatively short, that would help you along the way. So we made that shift, and today is supposed to be a journaling day. How many of you guys actually journal on a regular basis or have found that to be therapeutic or helpful to journal? One of the things about journaling is actually what's powerful. Oh, that's great, Shadow. I'm glad you're here. One of the things that is powerful about journaling as a concept is that you are using language to help yourself understand your thought process, right? When you think, what language do you think in? And then that brings us to the question, what language does somebody who cannot hear think in? When people who are deaf dream, they actually dream of giant hands doing sign language. And I think that that is so powerful to recognize how language shapes the way that we understand our own thoughts. The words that we put to something aren't just things that we come up with that are ways of communicating. They are actually defining the way that we feel. Sad, right? Happy. When I say something like happy, I don't want to start with sad because this ain't an emo channel. When I start with that word happy, right, it's a very confined word, and it's very specific to you. Yeah, go tell Haley to come on. Jeez. Come on, Haley. I don't know why I'm playing guitar. So, when we talk about the word happy, happy is actually a very confined concept, and especially to an individual. You're happy. Your kind of happy has a very specific smell, has a very specific feeling, has a very specific taste. Oh, this tastes happy to me, right? This feels happy to me. That idea of happiness, that very confined concept that you have in your head, it doesn't just get shaped by your thoughts of what happiness is. Your thoughts get shaped by your idea of happiness. So the word itself confines your thinking. So think about it this way. There are some cultures where there is no word for the color that we call purple. In fact, in the United States, there was no word. In English, there was no word for purple, and it was invented by Crayola. But when we talk about other cultures, right? When we talk about other cultures and their idea of what that color is, how does purple make you feel? What is purple? I don't know purple. I have no word for that. Oh, really? You've never experienced purple? Well, they have. Objectively, they've seen and experienced the same color that you've seen and experienced, but in their eyes, there's no word for it. And the word helps all at once to confine what that thing is and to expand what you think or what you're capable of thinking. So when you think of purple, you might think of a grape, right? In other cultures, if you held up a grape and you said, well, what's this color? They'd be like, that's the color of the ocean. That's the color of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's the same color. And you'd be like, no. This specific kind of blue, then let's call it blue. This specific kind of blue, it's different. It's got some other sort of reddish quality to it. And they're like, yeah, but it's just blue. It's just blue. And so you've confined what that concept is into what the word was, right? So let's segment out another word. Instead of just happy, I have ecstatic. Now, happy and ecstatic are two different concepts, and the confines of happiness and the confines of ecstaticness, ecstaticity, I don't know. The confines of those words are very different, right? So, what is your happiness? It's softer, right? Maybe it's a light, warm glow, whereas ecstatic is maybe bright pink, right? What does it look like? What does it taste like? Well, happiness tastes like one thing, ecstatic tastes like another thing, right? So I've just taken one concept and I've split it into two. The more that I expand my vocabulary of words for how I'm feeling, the more I can understand the feeling itself. You don't just feel happy. You feel happy sad. And there's words for happy sad. Sometimes it's anxious. Sometimes it's depressed. Sometimes it's not depressed like sad. Sometimes it's actually stoked that you're depressed. Familiar with that depression, right? Those words help you to better understand your thoughts. And so that's what journaling is doing. You're sitting alone with your thoughts. Your thoughts aren't in a specific language. They just are. They just float around in your head. And maybe they're very primal thoughts, like, that's a thing over there and I want it. So you're just like, me like, right? You don't even have those words. They just set off in your head. I'm drawn to this thing. And then you start putting words to it. This is actually how some mental illnesses end up being manifest in people. So when you think about somebody who is depressed and you see that as a mental illness, right? Their depression comes first. The thought of sadness comes first. The reason for the sadness comes second. How are you feeling today? Your brain lets off a thought that tells you what that feeling is. And then you start putting words to it. I'm sad. Well, why are you sad? Well, and then your brain looks for a justification for its feeling. It looks for words that can help it to find its feeling. I'm sad because somebody said something mean to me. Maybe you're not sad because somebody said something mean to you. Maybe you're sad because that's your feeling. And that's it. You had a feeling, and maybe a very primal feeling of sadness that you have no control over. Maybe you have a primal feeling of desire that you have no control over. Maybe you have a primal feeling of longing that you have no control over. All of those feelings are not simply depression. They're not simply sadness. They're not simply happiness. They're feelings. They have something else behind them. They are thoughts. And the thoughts themselves are indefinable. So when we think about this in the concept of poetry, this is what I've always said about poetry, is that poetry is all the words around a concept. All the words around a concept for which the concept has no words. The idea of love. Love might be the best word that we have for this big lump of concept, right? I love my mom, I love my dog, I love my tacos, right? It's a lot of things to love. That's a lot of things you're feeling, and those are not the same thing. You might feel very strongly about tacos. It is not the same feeling. So how does love, the use of the term, define the feeling itself? Is love always warm? Is love always red? Is love always loud? Is love soft? It's all those things. So love isn't love unless love is love in the love that you think love is. But it's seldom the love that you think love is, because sometimes it's the other love that you think it is, and that love, both of them, are not loves that I feel. We have feelings. We have thoughts. Big, lumpy things with no words. Now, to get all that back to journaling. Why journal? Why should I be writing in order to try and figure this out? Because the process of figuring out, think of it like a coin sorter, right? Money going in, you've got your quarters, you've got your dimes, you've got your nickels, you've got your pennies, and you're like, it's all just cash. It's all just lumps of money. I don't know. I'm feeling so much stuff. And you pour it into the coin sorter. And you look at each one. And each one is like, oh, that's a valuable thought. That's 25 cents. Let's put that into that category. Oh, that's just a penny. I don't need to worry about that. Let's put it over there. And it's a trash pile, right? Oh, it's a dime. It's a small thought, but it's kind of worth a lot. That's a nickel. It's a bigger thought that's not worth much, right? So you go through and you organize all of these thoughts and you end up putting words to them while you're journaling. Today I woke up and I'm feeling strange, something I can't really understand, and I'm gonna try and get into my subconscious because Mr. Jackson told me to. So I'm just gonna start going and start with my stream of consciousness and just start writing, I guess, because I feel like I have to. And everything these days is just stuff that I have to do, and I'm sick and tired of having to do stuff. And all of a sudden, thoughts start coming along. Thoughts that you didn't have words for end up being shaped and organized. Those thoughts are something more than just, I'm feeling strange today. They're deeper and they have value. And then you can look back, you can always read a journal, and you can always say to yourself, wow, that thought, Johnson County, Illinois, thanks, Shadow. That's super cool that you're all the way over here tuning in for us. We're based out of Coachella Valley, which is in California, and it is hot. It's like 105 degrees today. So that's awesome that you're here, Shadow. If you haven't gotten onto our Discord, you definitely should. I think that you might be, because you've been here before. So, when we think of these different things, these ideas being sorted, what's the benefit of me going back or sorting my thoughts? Where do I get the benefit out of this? Well, when you figured it out, you can actually start figuring out what thoughts are valuable and what thoughts you can discard. You can read back on a journal and be like, that was stupid. I think that was stupid. I shouldn't think that way anymore. I don't want to think that way anymore. Bye. Those are pennies. The Discord. Let me put the Discord in the chat for you. Can't believe you're not on my Discord. I usually have it in the description. But today, I just wanted to focus on get quick switch quicker. Quick switcher. Invite people. Copy. Here. Have a Discord server. There are rules. Don't break them. You know how it goes. I hope you guys all had some peanut butter, because some of this stuff is hard to talk about unless you've had peanut butter coating your throat. I'm thinking about what we want to do next, because it's weird. There's only like 7 of you guys here. And not to say that that's a small amount, but this is a weird activity, and I wanted to do it, but I'm not sure what sort of benefit you'll get out of it. How many of you guys have really talked to somebody else? Maybe it's been FaceTime, maybe it's been a phone call, but you've connected with your friends, right? Not just text, not just Discord, but you're talking to them. Hopefully you're seeing their face, right? If you have that opportunity, that's great, and I'm really glad that you had that opportunity. But how many of your friends very, very much listen to you, right? It's difficult to find friends that are just willing to listen. And when you have thoughts that you can't quite get out, some people really like to write them down, because a journal is like a friend that's always listening, right? But for you guys, you might not have that, right? Maybe you do, and that's lovely. And I encourage you to talk to those friends and talk to them regularly, because it's the same benefit as journaling. And in that case, a human being is going to talk back to you and say, yeah, no, those are dumb thoughts. Those are great thoughts. Those are amazing, right? Whatever it is. So what I want to do, I just want to take a little bit of time, all right? And I want you guys to talk to me. I know that sounds weird. I want you guys to tell me what's up. How are you feeling? All right. Hopefully some of you guys had a chance to just communicate some of what you were feeling. Know that even though I didn't hear you, that I was here, and that matters. I know a lot of people care about you. I know a lot of people care about what you're trying to say. I hope that you can find the right words, and maybe this is a place where you were able to do that. Maybe not. But I hope that you do find the right words. Yeah, I don't know. That just sounds like springtime to me. Glad you made it in, Shadow. I don't know. I like that. I like that little ditty. Hopefully you guys like that too. So, with that, I'm talking about journaling and the benefits that journaling have for you guys. I want you guys to practice that on your own. Grab a piece of paper, any sort of piece of paper. Grab a journal, any sort of journal. I'm not saying you got to go to the store because that's not good for you. So grab whatever you have around and just start writing. There's no restriction. The restriction is that you keep doing it. When your hand gets sore, you write about how your hand is sore. When you get tired, you write about how you're tired. Because more and more that you stretch that muscle in your brain being a muscle, right? The more that you do that, the more ability you're going to have to find the right words when you need them, right? I think that that's absolutely essential. Now, for today, I know if you guys are familiar with T. Brell, he is one of our mods on the Minecraft server. He is going to be doing a live stream at 8 o'clock tonight not Discord, on, you know what it's called, because you're young and cool, and I'm not. Twitch. He is going to be streaming on Twitch. If you want to check that out, I'm going to try and watch it a little bit too. So you can join me there in his chat. I think that'd be cool. If you've got any stuff like that you're doing, if you're doing any live streaming, please let me know. If you're making videos, please let me know. If you are like Tree Man over here, then you should let me know about this cool stuff that you're building in Minecraft. If you haven't gotten onto our Minecraft server, it's a freaking blast. It's a multiverse. There's a survival and a creative multiverse, so you can do whatever you're looking for. And I'm paying money for it to exist, so you might as well do it. So all good things, all great ways to interact. All you got to do today is journal. Tomorrow, instead of Peanut Butter Hour, I will be doing Sebby's Late Night Sweat Bean Variety Show, which is the weird name that we've come up with for my 8:30 streams. And I'll be playing, I think, Resident Evil 2. I think I'm going to be playing Resident Evil 2. I think I'm ready to get into something a little spooky. So if you've got some suggestions for games, I need to upgrade my PC so I can play games and stream at the same time. But if you've got suggestions for games, make sure to send them my way. Put them in the comments if you want. I've been watching Corey Kenshin, and he's got a lot of really good games that not everybody's playing. So I might check out some of those. I've already played a couple of IO games. I've already played Roblox. There's that fashion game that was a stinking blast. Can you play any songs on guitar? I mean, I can play, like, songs that you know, like... tiny is crowding my icebox. Somebody's cold one is giving me chills. I guess I should open my eyes. Oh yeah, alright, feels good inside. Say it ain't so. That's always hard, but I gave it to you. Yeah, I don't know. What song should I learn? I did do a little bit of, if you're familiar with Animal Crossing, when the bubble gum drops, hope that you smile. Gray. And remember all the good times we had when skies were gray. Gray. I haven't played it in a while. Gray. It's A. Yeah. So, your favorite song is The Gambler? Who does The Gambler? We can always look up The Gambler. The Gambler Chords by Kenny Rogers. Is it by Kenny Rogers? I've never heard this song before in my life. Am I super lame? Brianna, jeez, I just like signed off of all the stuff. Okay, what do we got here? First few lines are picking, and then he goes into strumming. Okay. I think I have to wear headphones so I can hear the song. Can I watch YouTube while also streaming on YouTube? When the bubblegum pops, I hope that you smile. Think of all the good times I had when skies were gray. The Gambler, Kenny Rogers. Okay, what's the chorus? Okay. When to hold, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. Okay. I like that. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. Never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done. Okay, there you go. That was for you, Shadow. I'm glad I stuck around for Brianna. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will be streaming at 8:30. We might play some video games. I asked for some video game suggestions. What I got was The Gambler by Kenny Rogers, which, great. I'm glad for that. This is a fun experience. What else? What else is there? Yeah, so we're only doing stuff Monday through Thursday. I'm gonna try and do some fun stuff over the weekend, but we'll see. It's always crazy over the weekend, but I know that it's fun for you guys to have some stuff to look forward to. I do like the song. That song was awesome. It was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that you're here, Brianna. What else? You missed a really cool thing. We talked a lot about journaling, and we talked about giving yourself a space to be able to talk. Oh no. Yes, Sammy. Have you been here this whole time? Hopefully you've been listening. So, yeah, I should check out Jackbox. We'll check out Jackbox this Tuesday. How about that? Jackbox instead of RE2. Can Miss Ely also play Jackbox? Oh, cool, Sam. I'm glad that I know your name. I'm glad that you joined us for this little fun time here. Make sure to follow rule number 1 and be here. So, one of the biggest things that you need to take away from our conversation today, that would be a lot of time to do an Elder Scrolls Skyrim playthrough. I've thought about Witcher 3 because I've watched the movie, the TV show. One of the biggest takeaways, journaling helps you find words for things that you don't have words for. Journaling helps you to uncover what your word for purple is. So if you're having a feeling that you don't know what the feeling is, oftentimes journaling can help, and I really strongly suggest that. Jackbox Party Pack 3 is probably the best one to get, in my opinion. I'll make it happen. I'll buy it up. Buy it up right now. You know I like to spend money. I just bought a bunch of IB clothing gear. So I'm going to come decked out in IB clothes. Better have a job. You have one person who hosts it on their computer, so everyone else can play? Okay. Make it happen. We can make that happen. Kenny Rogers got me all country now. Cool. Okay, cool. We'll just let the first 8 players in. Talk about it on Discord. We'll get 8 players, I'm sure. That could be fun. That could be a blast. It's better than me just rambling about journaling. So it will help you come up with your own word for whatever you're feeling. And sometimes having a word helps you to put that feeling in a box. And having a box for that word, having a box for that feeling helps it so it doesn't spill out into other places, right? If you know, here are all of my valuable thoughts, here are all the thoughts that I don't think are that valuable and I can discard them, you don't have your invaluable thoughts getting in the way of your valuable thoughts. You don't have a bunch of pennies in with your quarters. You know what your quarters are, and you can say, okay, this is a good idea. I can focus on this. And maybe you'll come up with ideas. I've never heard of Polybridge. Give me some of that Polybridge. Maybe you'll come up with some ideas that are helpful ideas where you're like, you know what, I've just been sleeping in way too late. If I can set an alarm and stay on top of it, that might be helpful. That's a valuable thought. Maybe it's a valuable thought. And maybe every time that you said that, you also had this other thought that hung around, this little penny thought. And this little penny thought was something like, but you won't do it. But you're not very good. Right? Oh, Polybridge is a game? Okay, I'll check out Polybridge. I'll definitely check out Polybridge. We'll play some Polybridge. We'll make it happen. So, if you have those penny thoughts like I'm not good enough wrapped up with your quarter thoughts, your really good, expensive kind of ideas, then you're going to think to yourself, I'll wake up early. Wait, no, I can't. I'm lazy. I will learn how to play guitar. Oh, wait, I can't. I'm not talented. Right? Those are penny thoughts. Get them out of your quarters. You've got great, valuable ideas, and journaling helps to weed that out. And you can say, I'm having a feeling like I'm useless, and that is a penny thought. I'm having a feeling like I'm not good enough, and when I write it down on paper, I think to myself, God, that's not the feeling. That's not it. Telling myself that I'm not good enough just because I'm feeling a thing isn't it. That's not how I'm actually feeling. What I'm feeling is something a lot deeper. I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling hungry in bigger ways, right? So you want to take that thought and you want to isolate it, put it in a box. You want to come up with an idea. I have this idea, right? I have this brilliant thought about myself. I value myself. I need to start doing something better. I need to start trying harder on this, right? You've got to separate out those pennies from that. And that's where journaling is really going to help. writing it out, because the moment you put it to your hand and you start telling your hand to do something, your brain starts telling your hand, okay, hand, let's work this out together. Your hand starts to fight back a little bit. Legitimately, your hand, and let's talk about let's talk about neuroscience. Let's talk about neuroscience. In this, you've got two hemispheres, right? Brain split in half, and in between you have basically a couple of different things that help to converse between those. One of those is the hippocampus. Hippocampus is called such because it looks like a little seahorse. Isn't that cool? Some of these things, they just sound sciencey because we're into Latin at the time, but like really they're just like, that thing looks like a seahorse. You don't want to know the origin of the term sperm whale. We'll leave it at that. So with this, you got this hippocampus, this little thing in here. You got a bunch of other stuff right up here, right? You got a headache right here. It's doing its work. It's doing its thing. You got these two. Did I not say seahorse? I said seahorse. Seahorse, sea hell. Lead me to the building. Nah, that's a weird reference. You got these two hemispheres. One hemisphere, they basically say contains an entire consciousness. You have one side of your brain that contains an entire consciousness. And this is the weird part. It's the consciousness that thinks it exists. So when you say, Mr. Jackson, one half of my brain lights up and it's like, I'm Mr. Jackson. Maybe this is the concept of ego, my concept of my self-identity. I'm Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson likes peanut butter. Mr. Jackson likes to play guitar. Mr. Jackson likes to be kind. Mr. Jackson has a beard. All of these thoughts are thoughts that Mr. Jackson has. On the other side of it, there's this weird, some people refer to it as a slave consciousness or a subservient consciousness, right? All of those things, this other side of your brain, it doesn't think it exists. You don't go into your head and you're like, oh yeah, there's two people. There's like the me that gets to talk and there's the me that gets to move the hands around. But that's it. You got these two separate sides of the brain and they talk to each other in between in this space, right? And they communicate with each other. If you get to the point where you're able to drive, you'll drive to school and you'll tune out and you'll get to school and you'll be like, how did I get here again? That's because one part of your consciousness, the part that thinks it exists, was just chilling. And the part that does all the work, the part that knows how things work, right? That was doing all the work. And so when I play guitar, right, I'm having a thought. Mr. Jackson plays guitar. But I'm not thinking, and this finger goes here, and this finger goes here, and these fingers move like this. I'm not thinking about that at all. I'm thinking Mr. Jackson plays guitar, right? Which is great, because then this side of my brain gets to think that it does cool stuff, and the other side of my brain gets to be like, oh gosh, he's trying to play the guitar again. All right, guys, let's all get to work. We're moving all the fingers. Yeah, in coordination, not just wacky waves. All the fingers, all the ways. And so that part of your brain is connected to the physical things that you do. You try to write something, you've put it into words, you've put it into your writing, it's connecting to the side of your brain that doesn't think it exists. So when you say Mr. Jackson feels this way, then maybe that's all stuck on one hemisphere. And then you say Mr. Jackson's going to write that down. And the other side of your brain's like, yo, you okay? You sure? You sure you want to write that right now? I would reconsider. I mean, maybe we don't have to be this way. And then the other side of the brain's like, no, that's how I'm feeling. And it's like, yeah, but maybe let's exercise. Maybe let's just go for a little jog, and maybe we can sweat this out. And the other, no. Mr. Jackson's lazy. Mr. Jackson doesn't want to go for exercise. And so you have this conversation, this dialogue that's happening in your head when you're journaling or when you're talking to somebody, right? Moving of the vocal cords. That is another physical process. Saying something out loud, right? It's a lot easier to think you hate yourself than it is to say out loud, I hate myself, right? And so that idea, it allows you to start putting it into words and starts making it real. I'm going to contain it to this one area. I'm going to put it right there. And then I'm going to find out whether or not it was a valuable thought to begin with. And I'm going to allow myself to discard it if it wasn't. This was not a good idea. Throw it away, right? That's why I want you to journal. I want you to journal every single Monday. I would love if you journaled every day, but you don't have to. Journaling every Monday is good enough. All right. There's been cases where the nerve that connects the hemispheres, is severed. It's because both hemispheres to act independent of each other. Yes. So that's where they came out with this whole idea. There was lobotomies. The people who had this area of their brain damaged. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm a neuroscientist. I know that there's a seahorse in there, which is kind of cool. A little hippocampus. But you got your hippocampus doing some of that work. I think amygdala is also involved. But if you sever that connection, then they think independently, right? And I'm not saying that they have different sets of emotions, because they're still feeling a lot of the same things, right? They've still experienced everything that is your life, right? But it's almost like having a very, very close twin. And having that very close twin, sometimes they can give you a different perspective, right? And what they did was your eyes are connected to different things. Oh, let's get weird. All right, let's get weird. In the studies that Tree Person is talking about as in the comments, there's actually this ability in separating your brain. Dope. We only got like 2 more minutes. So in separating your brain, there's this idea, if we connect it to your perception of reality. I only believe in things I can hear, see, smell, taste, right? But when you think about your brain being separated, one eye sees one thing, the other eye sees another. Let's say a deer runs by right here, right? My right eye sees it and recognizes it, but my left eye doesn't. If I were to sever that conversational part of my brain that's able to deal with the 2 sides connecting, then part of me doesn't believe that the deer exists. Part of me is like, no, there was no deer. I don't think so. No, there was absolutely no evidence that there was a deer. I didn't see a deer. I didn't hear a deer. I didn't feel a deer. Yet the other side absolutely does. And this is where we get this idea of cognitive brain function dissonance, meaning 2 things fighting against each other. 2 notes, right? Maybe I do something like this. Dissonance, right? They sound bad together. Scrap music or hydroneer that comes out on May 8th. Yeah, I like new games. That's always fun. So, what I want you to do, challenge this part of your brain. Stop, think, put it to words, write it down, say it out loud. If you need to watch this video again, it's going to be posted on on YouTube. And so you can go onto YouTube and Scrap Mechanic. Thank you. You can go onto YouTube and you can watch that section where I gave you guys a chance to talk. I might post a video just of that. I stole that from another YouTuber, not going to lie. But I thought it was a really great and powerful idea, and I wanted to share it with you as well. With that being said, here's what I want to leave you with. I miss you guys. Even Sam, who I just met. I miss you guys. I wish we could connect. I wish that I could hear what you were feeling. I wish I could be a part of that. Since I can't, may you have a good day. Have the best day that you can. May you put words to how you're feeling. May you start to find a way to filter your thoughts into the valuable thoughts and the not so valuable thoughts. And may you find that as a habit that you do regularly. May you find a way to let the 2 sides of your brain communicate and recognize that you're valuable, you are important, you matter, and you'll get through this. So, do your best work today. Stomp your chomp your chomps. Don't forget to yell quack.
Quack.
Quack.